Welcome back to another episode of the No Name Unnamed, I don't even know name podcast. We don't have a name yet for this Patriots podcast, for this Patriots show. My name is Brett Cormier. Thanks for coming and watching, hanging out. We're gonna have a good time today, I think. At least I'm gonna have a good time, and I hope you guys also have a good time. We're just gonna be talking about just Patriots stuff. Just we're mostly what I'm going to be touching upon. Maybe I shouldn't. Mostly what I'm going to talk about is honestly I think there's always a lot of discourse, or maybe not discourse, but there's always, the offseason. There always likes to be talks. There are always talks about free agents and how, you don't want to go into the next season with the same exact team that you did in the previous season. That is true, and that there's always places to get better, this, that, and the other. But I think there always is a little bit of maybe people just wanting that big name all the time, that big shiny new toy that feels like can always help a new team. Or help your team, our team, the Patriots. And that is true. You got AJ Brown, for instance. Let's just use him. Everybody wants to trade for him, and of course it would be great. But you got the asking price, and you got the age, and you got the injuries, and the slowing down, and this, that, and the other. And it could be a great help. But I just feel like nobody talks enough about. This team wasn't the worst. You end poorly. Yeah, it sucks. The Patriots lost in the Super Bowl. But the Patriots were in the Super Bowl. And they did struggle a little bit. Their offense struggled a lot in the postseason. But when they needed to win the games, they did. And, no team really would. It's really tough to see teams playing at least in the beginning of the playoffs, the weather that they did. And to be able to throw the ball and this, that, and the other. And we need more skill guys. We do need more guys on the perimeter where when they catch the ball, they can score. We need that bad. We need speed. We need athleticism. But I don't think you can get it all in one bite. You have to be able to pick and choose what guys and what personalities and what types of play styles these guys have, because we get Tyquan Thornton and we pretty much run him out of the building, and then he goes to Kansas City and has a decent year. Guys like that where it just seems like they just might not fit what the Patriots are doing, and that's okay. That can be okay. That happens a lot, with different teams, not just ours. Guys get traded, and sometimes they get better, sometimes they get worse. Sometimes guys sign, not just traded, but sign, and it doesn't work out all the time. Sometimes it does, but this is just more of a team where you watched last year and they win games that, just like what Vrabel said in the beginning of the season. They won games when the other team was just giving it to them. They didn't lose games. The last game, they lost it, but Seattle played really well. It's one of those things. So the whole reason why I wanted to come on and talk is I just wanted to go through, where I think this team is, where they need to upgrade, and where I think we might be maybe, I don't want to say, I think everybody kind of knows some positions like cornerback. We don't really need a bunch. We don't need a bunch at cornerback or quarterback, either way. But look, let's just get into it. I think you guys kind of understand what I'm talking about. We are going to do a mock draft also. So stick around for the mock draft. Leave a like, leave a comment, and let's just let's just talk. If you guys disagree, you know, I would like to see what you guys have to say. Maybe we could chat it up. See what other people think. See if people agree with me, disagree with me. Why you disagree with me? Because this is an open forum, and we all want at the end of the day. If you're a Patriots fan, you're watching this, you want the same thing. We all want the same thing. We want to get back to the Super Bowl. We want to win the Super Bowl. Everybody wants the same thing. So there are different ways to go about that, and there's different mindsets, and there's different ways people see the game and things like that. So let's say this is just my personal perspective, and a way I think we can avoid being the teams like the Bengals and being the teams like those just teams that get there and they just almost panic because they know they got there and they just want to get back so bad. And sometimes that need to be good and that need to keep the pedal to the metal like the Commanders, and sometimes it gets you in a jam, and then you're not good for a long time. You have to build around your guys and your play style. So let's just get into it. Running back. Let's start with running back because there's not a lot of what is this? Okay, that was weird. My computer just did something weird. There's not a lot of talk about the running back position, which I don't think we don't need running back, but I think having a third running back in this in our current tandem that we have, having another guy, maybe you can dip your foot into running back that maybe you can find a guy that likes to return the ball. Maybe you can find somewhere that speed late in the draft that you can get a good returner where Travion, I at least thought Travion was going to be there at the returning kicks, especially after we all saw him preseason. He returns one. And then Antonio Gibson is like, wow, this guy is actually the returner. And at first I was thinking, what are we doing with? And then he breaks one against Miami, and I'm like, oh, that's why he's really good. We cut him, and we have that. Speaking of Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery, they're now split up, and David Montgomery traded to the Texans, which is what's wild to me that they would do that. But we have that tandem where now moving into the second year, I think Travion will be able to study that playbook a little better, understand the pass protection schemes, which is a huge thing in Josh McDaniels' offense, which coming out of college, everybody knew Travion Henderson was going to be really good at pass protection. And there was something where I think there was a lot going on with certain alerts and certain calls and, the defensive schemes where Travion had to think a lot more on the fly and had to be a lot more, just aware. And it was a lot. It's a lot. James White, I think, even talked about how he didn't even really feel comfortable in McDaniel's offense until year 2 or 3. I think he might even have said 3. So that's just saying something. We all know James White is Patriots legend. So I think having, if you get a rookie that can do the kickoff work, that would be cool. We were horrible at kickoff, kick return. A running back, maybe a receiver late would be fun in that area. It's a splash. Not a splash, but, Brandon Thompson from Mississippi State. 4'2", 640, small dude. I don't know how early or late he's going to go, but that would be just so fun, just getting a guy that can absolutely fly at kickoff return. That'd be awesome. But, so I think even if you got a dude, Denzel Boston somehow drops and you can figure out a way to get him in the first round, he has returned punts. I could assume he could return kicks. We need a guy where it was so, Antonio Gibson, after he ran that back against Miami, it just felt like anybody could, he can run one back. It felt different. It felt different than when we put Chiz back there and we had even Kyle Williams back there. It had a different feel. So I like the run. I like getting a running back there because they can process, especially with this new kickoff. I feel like it's a little bit like running from the backfield where if you can get like a good zone running back that can read the field a little bit better, that might be kind of a cool thing that some special teams coordinators look into, other than a receiver that just runs really fast, hits a hole, finds a gap, and just goes. That happens, of course. But I feel like running backs that have a little bit of nuance, have a little bit of feel to the field, have better chances of setting up blocks or finding or reading or moving a guy that's running down the field, maybe moving him a little bit and finding a hole. So running back, a good zone running back late in the draft, I feel like would be really fun in kickoff because it's a totally different game in that way. So that's where I'm going on running back. I kind of really like that. The more I was talking about that, the more I was like, oh, that's a genius idea, Brett. Good job. So, Elliot, hopefully you see this and shout me out. That'd be cool. Anyway, quarterback. I mean, maybe in 7th round we get a quarterback. We don't need a quarterback. We got our guy. That'd be cool if like we got like the biggest quarterback of all time, and then on like 4th and whatever, 4th and 1, just run them on and just have like 2 quarterbacks back there. Nah, that's stupid. I'm just joking. I'm just joking. Anyway, tight end. Tight end is a big spot for us. I think it's going to be, this might be the biggest area for the Patriots come next season, is how do they rebuild the tight end position? Because for however long, how long did we sign Hunter Henry? How long ago? And what was that? Was that the 2020 season or 2021 season? Something like that. He's been great. And I'm not saying whatever, but it would be awesome for him to have another tight end to where he doesn't have to take on all of the blocking duties. I like Hunter Henry. I think he has a really good knack for finding spots in zone. I think he's really good in that aspect. And I think when Belichick originally got him and Jonnu, he had that mindset of, okay, let's get a guy that can move around. He liked Hunter as a blocker. But now I think Hunter, he struggled blocking. Let's just be real. Like this past season, he didn't block very well. And that's okay, I guess. Not really. But it's not okay, and that's where, we had to run a lot of not 12 personnel. We had to run a lot of 6 O-line sets where, we needed that extra blocker, and it was just too obvious. And it would be nice if we had a big tight end that could play inline and allow Hunter to maybe have those cutback blocks and things like that. Have him play that spot. And then also being able to have maybe a smaller tight end that could run down the field. But I don't even think that would... I think you get one big blocking tight end that can kind of catch the ball while I'm Kohler. And then you get, I don't know, maybe Koziel, the 6'6" guy from Houston who can spread out wide and give you a good look from out there. Come in, maybe block on the inside a little bit. He's not the greatest blocker, but I think that would be the best thing. Maybe Eli Raridan from Notre Dame. I really like him. Be able to get a guy like that to be able to, he can block a lot better. He blocked a lot in the run game for Notre Dame, and they had one of the best run games. So I don't think that would be too terrible of an idea to have him. I think getting people to help with Hunter Henry inside and be able to maybe free him up with those big bodies would be a good idea. Now, that's all fun, but not as fun as the possible rebuild. I don't know why I just did that, honestly. I kind of didn't really know what I was going to say, if I'm going to be honest. I was like, I had no idea what I was about to say, and I just tried to Let's just go to receivers. Let's go to what do we think about receivers? Not good enough. We all know that, not good enough. I think they know that it wasn't good enough. I really like Kayshon Boutte, but I need, he's ascended every year. I just need I need an extra step. I need another step out of Boutte. I need him to be able to be a little bit more consistent, not just on the deep ball. I need it to be consistent on all the levels, and I think he can get there. I want them to use him surprisingly more out of the slot. I think he can be really effective out of the slot. So I'm not too sure. Like, is he a true X receiver? I think he can be, but I also think you're limiting who he can be if you just keep on the outside. I think he was struggling with those other little routes, but I think if you put him in motion, you give him those under route types, I think it could be fun. And I think having Matt Collins come back for another year is like the biggest. He's like the most unsung hero on the team. What I think we should do at receiver is either if you can, look, we're not getting. Everybody's like, oh, we're gonna get you can get the guy, but I don't know if you can get. I don't know if one receiver changes this football team. And I know that sounds crazy, but I don't know if it does. I really don't. Because what really, in all of our games that played well, when the Patriots were playing well, they were running the football really well. And the offensive line was moving the D-line. And they could control the football game. And that is what gets a lot of receivers open. And I think if you build around, you get another, I don't know. See, that's the issue. And then it's like, what do you do? Like, let's be real about the offensive line real quick. Not moving Will Campbell, right? He wasn't, and okay, I'm not saying Will Campbell, he's my starting left tackle, I think, for the next 12 years, however long he's the guy. He will be the guy. He's young. He will be the guy. Now, coming out of college, one of his main things was he was good at run blocking. And a lot of the areas that I saw, honestly, a lot of the areas that I saw he kind of struggled with in college were like 10 times the issue here. He missed a decent amount. Like, when he finished. And it was like, nice. But there was just a lot of times where they couldn't run the ball to the left. And we're just going to be like, whether it was just Will Campbell, whether it was him and Jared Wilson together, two younger guys that aren't as big, like, mass-wise, maybe that is an issue. But a lot of their big runs, besides, I believe, Travion's toss, where everybody on the left side like fell down and he broke one, was to the left. But most of their big runs, I think a huge percentage of their big runs were all to the right. So how do you fix that? How do you go into this offseason and you be real with yourself and you say, all right, look, when we ran the ball, we couldn't run the ball to the left. And they knew that during the season. So they're not going into this offseason just being like, we can't move. They're looking at guards. They're looking at guys that can move people in the run game at left guard. And I think that's key. That's vital. And in my honest opinion, I think that will help Will Campbell a lot. Being able to know he has another man mover right next to him. I don't think they go for a pricey guard. And they've already said that, and I don't think that'd be a good move. I don't think the splashes are the good move anywhere, especially this offseason. I just don't think the talent in free agency is worth the juice is not worth the squeeze, I think is the saying. Because realistically, you spend a lot of money on a veteran guard that's marginally better than a guy that you can spend maybe a couple $1,000,000 less than. And I'm not like, because you're not getting a Mike Onwenu on the left side at guard this free agency. You're just not. And you have to be real and look at like, okay, would it be smart to spend $20 million on a left guard that hopefully we draft a rookie that takes over his spot either during the season or wins it out or next season? So like it's a stopgap. It's kind of like Morgan Moses, but Morgan Moses is like a 2-3 year stopgap. So is the left guard, are you going to do kind of the same thing? Do you get, which I don't think is a bad idea. I think that's a great idea. You get it, but Morgan Moses I don't think he was that expensive. They went and got a guy that fit what they like to run. Him and Mike Onwenu, when they run duo, when they run power to the right-hand side, they maul people. And that's what they went and got. And he also can pass block well. So do you do kind of the same thing on the left-hand side where you kind of know what Will is deficient in and you get a guy that is proficient in those areas and you can mix and match? Because nobody is you have Trent Williams and he had a horrible rookie year. Let's throw that out there first too. But you get Trent Williams, he's pretty much good in everything. That's like the end of the list for offensive line. You have to know that some guys are going to not be, nobody's the perfect guy, So what are you going to do? You got to know, okay, Will Campbell's really good at these and he's not that good at this. Do you get a guy that's next to him that you say, okay, we want a guy that is also really good at these and also sucks at these, and we can just not run that to the left, but then it makes so you have to play that game where you say, are we going to put a guy at left guard that is Bo Stevens from Iowa, the left guard who's turning into like my guy. Bo I've watched him versus Penn State just annihilate people, just pancakes, like they must have all been noon games because he was serving brunch pancakes all game long. I mean, it was just the dude is a mover of men and he doesn't allow sacks and he's good in pass protection, and that's the kind of guy where I think the Patriots need. Bo Stevens from Iowa, just a big guy that likes to move people. So do you get a guy that's like that can run power? Because I think Will can run power decently well. That would be a good idea. And then you take Jared Willis and the talks, you move him to center, and you have Ben Brown still, and I think maybe you take a hard look at Bradbury and you think, I think he did help the offensive line a lot, but I believe Ben Brown is more of a piece that you keep. You could keep both of them too, because Ben Brown, I feel like you could even say, hey Ben, can you play right guard if Morgan hurts his ankle for a drive, because that's all we're hoping for. And Ben Brown would be like, I got it. Ben Brown's the man. I love Ben Brown. He's awesome. He moves people too. And I think he was really good. So that's my idea. I think you get like a cheaper veteran, because Ben Brown can fit that spot that if you pay a veteran a little bit more money in free agency, they're going to give you about that. They're not going to give you something that's like, whoa, this guy is like the greatest player I've ever seen in my life, because you're just not going to get it. So it's smarter to just get a guy that's you find where he's proficient in certain areas, like Bradbury. Bradbury was horrible for the Vikings, and they found but they don't know they're just using him so incorrectly. They're not using his strengths. So you find a guy that you see, and I don't know exactly who that is. In free agency, I think Bo Stevens from Iowa is that guy. He is my guy. You get a guy like that, but maybe Bitonio is a lot of money, and he doesn't want to take that little. But if you can get him if you can get him for a decent chunk of change, and you can have him play that guard position, you got Ben Brown, you have Bradbury, you have Wilson, you have these guys where you say, look, battle it out. Battle it out, because I think that's the key thing is just battle it out. So that's a good idea. And also, I saw that they were talking to this kid from Memphis who's like 6'9". He's a right tackle, 6'9". He's massive. Good end of the. What was his name? Beep 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 beep. I'm gonna look. I have my computer right here, so I'm gonna look. What is Is Memphis in the American? I believe. Yeah, American. Let's see who this is. Okay, Chris Adams. He's. Is this him? No, this isn't even him. Okay, so the guy that they're looking at isn't even on PFF's big board. So that's awesome. Maybe whatever. I just saw a report they were talking to this ginormous dude. But I don't know. Whatever. Screw that guy. If they draft him, we'll talk about him. But Bo Stevens, my guy. Watch him. Iowa. And then right tackle, might go Blake Miller. Early. And we'll talk about that. We'll do a mock. We're doing a mock still. So, and then edge rusher, of course, we all know. Edge rusher. What do we do with edge rusher? I don't know. Clavon Chason needs to defend the run better. Boye Mafe is kind of the same player. He run defends a little bit better, but realistically, they're kind of the same guy. So if you could bring Chason back to get continuity, maybe you can have him run defend a little bit better. I don't know. Maybe you get him and Jones from the Falcons. I'm blanking on his first name. Anyway, Jones from the Falcons. I like that guy. Is it Jones from the? Oh man, I'm blanking on these two dudes that I like, and that's horrible. And I shouldn't be doing that. Jones from the Falcons, and then Buddy from the Ravens. That was on the Titans and the Ravens. I gotta look this up, and we gotta look this up because this is muy importante, muy importante, which means very important for you guys that don't speak Espanol or Spanish. Draymond Jones. Draymond Jones is the dude from Baltimore who I really like. He has that bend that they talk about, and maybe I might have been thinking about this guy. Not whatever I said about the Falcons thing, I lied. I don't even know. I don't even know what I was talking about, if we're going to be honest with each other. Look, I'll always be honest, but I have no idea who the heck I was talking about. No idea. I'm looking at it right now. Look, I'm not even, I'll bring it up. I have no... Okay. Oh, I was talking about this guy, Ibikati. That's what I was talking about. Ibikati. I like Ibikati, and I like Jones. Those are my two guys. Those are my two guys I like. And, of course, I like Trey Hendrickson. But are we getting Trey Hendrickson? I don't know. He might be a big-ticket guy. D-tackle, I like what we got. Maybe get one more guy if Tavai leaves, which... Not Tavai. Wow. Holy... What time is it? Is it like midnight? I do have my espresso right here. Maybe I need a sip of this espresso. Oh, yeah. It's at night, right? I don't even know what time it is. Hopefully I sleep after this. We'll see. Maybe not. What was I talking about? I don't remember. Oh, I was talking about the D line. Yeah, I like the D line. You maybe get one more guy that could kind of play nose, but I think the D line's good. I think you got Elijah Ponder, who's going to be a good player. I think Braden Swinson is kind of what everybody's looking for, like a pass rusher that has learned. I think he was when he was on the practice squad, I think he turned down other teams to join to stay with the Patriots, which is a very good sign. And I think that I feel Vrabel was telling him, like, just be patient. But once you he's making him I think he's getting him a little bigger, a little bit more of his, like, type and learning and taking a real redshirt year, which I think is awesome for rookies. I hate it because I get excited when we draft guys, but, like, realistically, that second year is like you just get that's when the magic happens, is that second year, especially for the Patriots. Especially, I feel like we have, like, this second year thing that not a lot of other teams have, where we can get that second year leap and just bang. So that's what I think. What else we got? Linebackers. I think we're getting a linebacker in draft. Corner's good, and Hawkins is coming back. So, look, that was a lot of gabbing for saying we're going back to the dang Super Bowl, and we're getting some rookies to maybe play a little this year, but for the future. Because this team is not just about next year. We're going to be good next year, but that's where teams fall apart, is they try to win. They like forget that it's not just next year, and you can win with good players. We have good players. We have a good foundation. The foundation is there. Another year all together. Coaches didn't leave, which is also huge because a lot of times teams make the Super Bowl and the coaches leave. Think of Seattle. Their OC's gone. So that's crucial. That's big. And we're signing Christian Gonzalez. I think they've already been talking about it. So let's go to here. Let's make sure we look good. We look good? All right, cool. It looks good. Awesome. We're using PFF today. I was using PFSN, and it was, like, extremely, extremely laggy. It was kind of upsetting. There was just so many ads, and I get it because it's free, but it was tough. And I don't pay for this, so we only got 3 rounds, and also no trades. This is interesting. This is interesting right here. This is interesting. I do like Caden Proctor. I also don't love Caden Proctor. I think here, let's get up close and personal here. Put that mic right there. Perfect. Let's get into it. Because, look, let's get into it. This is the best part. This is the best part about the offseason, is just kind of guessing. Because I don't like looking at the rank and the average draft position, because every team's going to have different players ranked differently. And I think it is important to know that, especially after Craig Woodson last year, how everybody was freaking out, and he's, like, the best rookie on defense. He was the most underrated rookie on defense, at least. Rory was really good, but most underrated. And he was awesome. I think he was top 3 defensive rookie of the year last year. Honestly, he was awesome. Not sponsored. Not sponsored by Illy. Illy, hey. Not sponsored. Just joking. All right, come on. Sadiq. Can we talk about Sadiq real quick? You can flame me in the comments. I think he's one of the most overrated players in this draft. I think Sadiq is the most overrated player in this draft. Man, that pains me to say. It really does pain me to say. I think he's good, but I don't, like, I think people just see that he's like the most jacked human on planet Earth. Sorry, I'm having like weird things with my hat. Um, I think he's like just insanely chiseled, looks like a like action figure, unbelievable. Like he could be a Power Ranger. Not really. No, he's way too jacked to be a Power Ranger. Like, dude is just. I mean, come on, chiseled. But it's the blocking for me, and I know there's a lot of stuff. I've seen. He does get good blocks. He has pancake people before. He gets in there and blocks, but those are few and far between. He does that, but he does it to like corners or nickels that roll down, and yeah, those guys are hard to catch. But also, there's a lot of times where he whiffs those guys, or he just gets one armed, just mashed by a defensive end, or just whiffs. And I just don't think. Look, if this is how it rolls, and you get Kohler, let's go over here. Let's go over here. Hopefully this doesn't lag on us here. Come on now. I'm just checking up there so that I'm just making sure we're not laggy. Cade Otton, and Daniel Bellinger are like kind of low key my guys. Like Cade Otton, if we get Cade Otton, Otton might be like I might be the most excited about Cade Otton out of all these guys. But Cade Otton and I like Bellinger. That would be fun. He was a lot of fun. But Charlie Kohler, if you get a Charlie Kohler, where was I? There we go. I got this stuff up here too. But if we get like a Kohler, and you can't get a Sadiq, who pretty much is a big slot, that'd be good. But I just we can go to the combine results too and check this out. This is kind of fun. He ran a 4.39. Hilarious. That's stupid. That's stupid. But it's the blocking for me. And if you want a cornerstone tight end out of the first round, I just don't see a guy like Sadiq being that guy. I like him a lot, but Kyle Pitts just started kind of turning it up a little bit. And they're similar, and Kyle Pitts is also like 3 inches taller. And I love Kyle Pitts. So I don't know. It's different. It's team basis need. I think maybe Denver would actually draft. He won't make it to this area because if he goes to 30, Denver, he's not. Sean Payton is literally not even allowing them to say Denver's on the clock. He's not allowing that. His coffee, Illy, come on now. Yeah, so he's not getting there. Lee Hunter, I like. I don't think he's unbelievable, but I do like him. He eats up, the middle. He would be fun to watch with. Holy smokes. Am I okay? Am I having like a freaking whatever? He'd be so fun with Milton Williams in the middle. That would be a really fun thing. Christian Miller is similar. They have that smaller frame. It seems like a smaller frame. Is he? Yeah, 6'4", 310. Not smaller frame, but like they're not like Lee Hunter's probably 330. He's got to be more than 330, right? He's got to be more than that. Come on. There's no way he ran the 40. He 5'18". Holy crap. Imagine seeing that. 318? What? 318? I could have sworn that dude was like way more than that. He looks massive. I'm just kind of going through these weights. Hold on. Wow, I thought he was way bigger. Anyway, this is just what do you guys think here? You think you go with the future in Blake Miller? I like that idea. I like the future idea because realistically, let's be honest, Chris Bell is not playing the beginning of the season because he tore his ACL. Omar Cooper, I really like, but do we want to find? I could see us drafting Omar Cooper or Jeremy Bernard just off the fact that Josh McDaniels does like to run those types of offenses where you have multiple quick guys and it's hard to guard. You got Omar Cooper, and I don't know if Pop Douglas is gonna be on the team. I'm not sure what they're gonna do with him. I love Pop; he's one of my favorite players to watch. But I don't know what they're gonna do with him. But if you got that Omar Cooper and Kyle Williams, you could run a lot of quick hitter stuff. That would be fun. But I don't think you can go with 31. Realistically, are you getting a game-changing edge? And that's just where it gets tough for me. Because our Mason Thomas, I think, is good, but I don't know if, he was hurt like all season. So I don't know if Frabes is going to like that. Gabe Akis, I like him, but it's too early. So this could be an area where you trade back, or you just say, look, we have Drake May. We want him for the rest of his career, and we want guys around him that just will block their asses off. And I've changed my tune. I've wanted Zion Young, and I like Zion Young, and it has nothing really to do. I think you could go Zion or Blake Miller. It just matters their homework they have on right tackles better later. Me personally, I love Zion Young. And if you're only able to get one edge, and you like a tackle, like a project tackle, maybe Dunker. I like Dunker. So you could realistically, the Zion Young Dunker combo is pretty awesome. Personally, I think that might be the move. Now that we're sitting here chatting about it, that might be the move. Because I like Malachi Lawrence. I just don't know if these guys. I think there's a real drop off after. Was that a sign? Elliott. All offseason, Elliott has been talking about one thing: explosiveness, bend, athleticism, power, speed. He wants something on the edge that the Patriots don't have. And our Mason Thomas has it. Fuck protecting Drake May. We'll get it later on. We're getting to the dang quarterback, boy. We're getting to that dang quarterback. All right? And then here we're like, blah, blah, blah. We're going Dunker. This is the best draft of all time. Okay? We're getting after this dang quarterback. We're not playing passive anymore. We're not just playing pure power. Okay? We're defending the run. We're playing with strength, aggressiveness. I like our Mason Thomas, actually. I like, not just messing around. Like, I like our Mason Thomas. First, I watched him and I was like, he's just a speed guy. And then you watch his full game, because it's tough because some of those games he was hurt. But you watch him versus Alabama in that playoff game. Caden Proctor was getting just put on skates, dude. I mean, it was just like, even his bull rush is so not what you think a guy like. I don't want to say his size because he's not smaller. Like he's smaller, but he's not tiny. 6'2", 250, which I think is a little bit smaller, on the smaller side. But look, Elliott's been talking about literally like speed, bend. Like he wants guys that get after the passer, and I agree. Like, you know, I love how we can set the edge and do this, but that's a learned trait where I think R. Mason Thomas is young enough and he has the skill to where when you watch him in the games, he does set that edge actually pretty well. Like he's a good player, and he still had, what do you have, like 6 sacks in 10 games, and half of them he was playing on a torn quad. So like, and then Tennessee, this should be, you know what? This is the selling point. Tennessee, when he hurt his quad, when he tore his quad, picked up a fumble, and he's stiff arming the tight end. Right? It was like Marshawn Lynch shrugs him off. He was carrying him for like 10, 15 yards, shrugs him off, and scores and like limps into the end zone. Like just dog. He's a dog. And I think that if he drops, which I'm not sure he will drop, but if R. Mason Thomas drops, or Cassius, I like Cassius too. Cassius is a good player. I know his arm length, yada, yada, yada. Let me see, where did he go? Where did Cassius go? Cassius Howell, 15. That could be a possibility. You know, he's really, really, really good. Cassius Howell is a dog. I like how he plays. One of those guys will fall. I don't think Mesidor will fall. One of those guys will fall, and I'm okay with taking either of those. Both of them got that edge to them. Both of them have that dog. They're aggressive players, which I like. When I'm watching, you know, everybody, you talk about the variable type guy, which I love that we have a team style that is just like when you talk about like the Patriots now, it's just like they're not just like they're a good fundamental team, but they're a fundamental team that are just dogs and aggressive and not like they play like they'll put their head through the wall. It's awesome. I love how that's our team. Our team is the team that you don't want to play in the playoffs because they beat you down, and then other teams will say you suck because you played us and we made you look bad because we just aggressive you. And when they might not be as talented in some areas, but they're going to get more talented, and that's what this Patriots team is. And boy, do I love that. I love that. I don't know about you. I'm getting excited for this next season. Hold on. If these are our first 2 picks, and we got Jennings Dunker, and then you know who else we're drafting? We're getting some Iowa boys. Bo Stevens on the left. Oh my God! Come on now! Come on now! I think this is really what I think we would do. Like this is honest work right here. I like Marlon Klein. Look, okay, he had like the worst stats I've ever seen, 248 yards. But he actually he's a captain, first of all. And he didn't catch the ball a lot, but I don't think their offense was like they had nothing going on offense, and it just had their play calling was just like the worst thing you've ever seen. But Marlon Klein wasn't bad, and that could be a late round steal, maybe in the 4th round, where Vrabes has talked about getting that tight end spot. I think this could be a good area for linebacker. Linebackers are okay. It feels weird to me, but it feels like this middle area isn't as good, and then it goes athlete, aggressive, awesome, athlete, aggressive, awesome, athlete, aggressive, awesome, athlete, aggressive, awesome. Like, and then Lander Barton, this dude plays tight end too. He's not as aggressive, so I'm kind of a little out on him, like not fully out, but not all the way. Jack Kelly, this is going to be, if he doesn't get drafted, he's going to be a sought-after guy. I think he will get drafted very late, but Jack Kelly, low-key, was fun to watch. He's I think he's massive too. No, maybe not. Was Jack Kelly the guy I'm thinking of? Let me see if Jack Kelly. Let me see. Go linebacker. Let's see if he benched. Probably not. I don't think anybody's benching anymore. Jack Kelly. Let's see how big this guy is. Is this the guy I'm thinking of? 6'2", 2'4". Yeah, this is him. Because he's like bigger. Like I like him. He's a fun player to watch. Not going to be great. I think this is probably true average backup special team, but he is fun. I just like that. I just kind of like him. But anyway, I think one of these guys will be late fourth. I really like Red Murdoch. I started watching him. I was like, oh my God. Watch Red Murdoch. And then come back, comment to this video if you like him or not. Red Murdoch is like really fun to watch. Heineke, I liked watching him when I was watching R. Mason Thomas. Heineke was like making every play out, and this guy was flying around the field. He's so fun to watch. When I was watching the safety, Bryce Botcher was very fun to watch. They're the two white dudes on the team, if you didn't know. One plays linebacker, one plays safety, and they fly around just bang, bang, bang. They're fun to watch. I like these guys. You can get some good value late in this draft in linebacker. And I think the Patriots are okay enough to where they can get a guy late in the draft and see what happens. Is this the big dude? Oh, no. Can't be, right? Jonah Coleman. Let me see. I'm just kind of going through and I'm like, oh my God. Is this the guy that I liked when I was watching Denzel Boston? When I was watching Boston, that running back was just awesome. I don't know. It might be. Whatever. If it is, cool. That guy's pretty good. He could be the guy we get late for our kick return. But you know what? A lot of people talking about this and that. Wait, let's just actually, before I finish that sentence, talk about this. Another guy you guys should watch that I really liked, Jeff Caldwell. He had a horrible season this year, 478, 32 catches. But last year, 53 catches, 1,000 yards, 11 touchdowns. I don't know what happened this year, but he's 6'5" and he runs fast. Sorry, I'm like clicking all over the place. Sorry if you guys wanted to watch that. 4.31. 6'5", 4.31. 6'5", 4.31. Bryce Lance is also very fun to watch. Trey Lance's brother. So one of these guys, I think, later on in the fourth round. Fourth round is going to be awesome, and that's where we have a bulk of our draft picks, which I love. I love that we have a lot of those. So we're finishing this off with nobody other than Bo Stevens. My most overlooked, look at that. 304 pass block snaps, 4 hurries. That's it. And please, watch Iowa offense versus Penn State and watch number 70, the left guard. Just watch it. Because we're drafting him. And the Texas A&M guy's pretty good too. But they've been kind of talking about this mid-round. That's hilarious. These guys don't even watch ball. They don't even know ball. These guys don't know ball. They don't know about Iowa, Oklahoma ball. They don't know about it. Well, we do. Look, I'm super excited for this team. I don't think. I think a lot of people are gonna think. They look at this Patriots team and they say, it's just like the Bengals. The Bengals, man, they these people. But this is not the same team. It's not built off of skilled players hoping that you can win games high scoring, no defense. It's not the same team. The Patriots got a defense. They're going to rebuild on offensive line. Keep strengthening that area. I can't go further, but in the fourth rounds, we'll go tight end, linebacker. I think that's where we're going to get a lot of value. Maybe even be able to trade up, trade back in some areas, get some guys that we want. Maybe trade back in this third round where this Bo Stevens pick is. Trade back, get that guard early hundreds. And I think that'd be great. Or even, we could trade up some spots too, get some other guys. There's just so many things that I think this team. I think we're in a much better spot than people think. It seems like it's like, man, we have this, that, and the other. But realistically, we were rolling. Beat a good Buffalo team that, We beat them in Buffalo at night. Tough team, tough game. Beat Tampa, that was playing well at the time. Beat Baltimore, who probably should have made it to the playoffs. Beat some good teams. And at the end of the day, if you can get some edge rushers in free agency, doesn't need to be top dollar. It would be nice to get like the Trey Hendrickson, but get guys that can fit what we do, because that's the most important thing, is just getting guys that fit. Because when you see teams like Miami who have a bunch of dudes, but they suck, there's a reason for it. And it's the game of football is not Madden, and a lot of people think it is, and a lot of owners think it is. But luckily, we have some guys in our front office that seem to know how to build a team. I mean, how many rookies started last year? That's just, and they played well. So I think this is a really good. I love this draft, and I know people are probably like, that's insane. I love this draft, but whatever. I mean, hey, to each their own. What do you guys think? What are you guys thinking positional wise? I don't think you can really go position wise. I think you have to kind of go, where can you get value for your team in these areas, and can you move back? Do you have to move up? And it's gonna be fun to see how Vrabel does, because I think early in Tennessee he was doing great in the drafts, and then their owner started taking over, started doing stuff, and that's when they started going downhill, and they started losing it. So build off the run game, build off the O-line. That's vital to a good team and a good quarterback, because Brady always had, and I know we can't compare everybody to Brady, but Brady always had a great run game. Josh Allen had a great run game this year. Quarterbacks that do well have great run games. Last year, Mahomes' run game was doing very well. They made it to the Super Bowl. The Eagles have a great run game. They make it to the Super Bowl. It's all about the run game. And, as the game gets smaller, player-wise, they get smaller, faster. You just get bigger and stronger and try to outmuscle these guys and keep up with the speed. You still have to, here and there. But I think we can turn into a Mauler team, and yeah, I'm actually really excited. I'm excited about this team, man. Free agency is coming up in a week and a half, something like that. It's March 1st today, so March 2nd today. So about a week and a half, and then once we get free agency, we'll keep talking. We'll keep talking. Kind of go through. Maybe we can go through. We get some comments on here or something. We can talk about certain areas of where people want to explore on the team, where we can maybe even make some trades here and there, and then that's it. But we'll talk to you guys next time. We'll get there, and yeah, I don't know. We'll talk to you next time. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. Unnamed, no name. We are still figuring out podcast. I'm Brett Cormier. We'll see you next time. Peace.